welcome back to Pirate Adventures. Where we last left off, our motley crew were discussing plans on how to move forward after discovering a large amount of information that Tiberius Deepmound was able to find while drinking in the tavern. They have also been invited to dinner with the Balins. Whether or not they're going this evening or not, they can. So if they choose, they've spent a couple of hours dragging a Balgura body back to the ship. So
Fix the
it's
sketch.
it's getting later towards the evening.
Mhm.
But
So
while they're having their meeting, Elena disappeared.
So with the Balgura, I don't know if we ever did it, but we'll be giving the Balgura to Umbra
Mhm.
for him to do whatever he feels he needs to do.
Tim would be delivering it down to Umbra.
Ah, cool. And yeah, then
It's just missing the head, isn't it? It's got everything else intact.
Yes.
yeah, just missing the
no
head.
Didn't they take a
Missing the
claw
head,
as well?
missing one hand that Gruzeel got.
Okay.
Mhm.
Missing a head and a hand.
Yeah, so I think that's all I took from it. I believe description, no equipment. Oh, he's missing. Yeah, so he's missing a little bit of fur,
Yeah.
some foot claws, and
Oh.
its hand. But
Believe
pretty much
it might
mostly
be used
intact.
for. I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
A worry if there's a patch of fur missing.
No, exactly. So
Some
yeah, that's
reason.
fine. I mean, Gruzeel would ask for people to look for Elena on their travels. He'll look as well. Oh, actually, we haven't gotten there yet, have we? So we've still got time before we dock. Oh no, before we leave.
Well, I was going to say you're currently anchored outside
yeah.
a southern beach. Let me just bring up the other map so you can see whereabouts you are.
Yeah. So if we've got time then before we leave, Gruzeel will kind of suggest for
Gruzeel.
people to
Roundabouts here.
Cool. Gruzeel will suggest for people to see if they can find Elena, find out if she's okay and what have you. Alarias probably, especially because he seems to have like this sort of rapport with her. But Gruzeel, in the meantime, will summon Slayer into his office.
Okay. Let's start with, for those searching for Elena, is anyone specifically searching? Or are you all just kind of, if you pass her?
I'll be actively.
I'll have old Hawky Boy.
Umbra doesn't care.
I'll have a
I
look.
wouldn't know. So.
What about Tim?
So Tim isn't searching for Elena. He's trying to put together materials for his first sermon, which is this evening.
Okay.
It's on top deck,
I
and
dig it.
those who are expected to be in attendance will know.
Okay.
Umbra will attend the sermon.
Umbra will have let them know.
Yep.
I mean, Umbra, you got to let me know who you've let know. Just as a side there.
I think it's just the kid. The kid is the, only one we've
He's the
recruited,
only
right?
disciple we have so far, right? So
I think
It's gonna be a thin turnout.
I think the meeting is disciples
Crazy.
only, but it's going to be some important stuff.
Okay, that's
Has he
interesting.
got any child friends? With child?
There's not that many kids on board.
Okay. Just I'll let him know then.
Okay. Okay, we'll get to that. Interesting enough. Okay, so you guys.
Oh wait, sorry, one more thing. I might. I'll wait till we get there, but I might scope out potential recruits on the way as well.
Okay. So those.
Even though you've got a new Balgura, I thought you'd be knee deep in that rather than
The Lilith thing, whatever it is important.
Work requires donations, you know.
The Lilith thing, the Joylif thing. Don't forget your Lord and Savior.
Exactly, Joylif, not Lilith. Very different.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so basically, Alarias and Elizora are the only ones sort of searching for Elena at all, really, actively.
Elizora's Hawk.
Elizora's Hawk. Okay, fine. Can I
Elizora's
get
not
a
actively.
investigation for Elizora's Hawk and Alarias?
It's not perception.
Is it not perception?
It is. Sorry, perception. I meant perception.
Even worse. 11.
16.
16. The hawk, now actively looking, doesn't see Elizora on deck, and it can't search the
Elena.
lower decks. Elena. Blah, I'm having a good day. Doesn't see Elena on top deck, being that the hawk isn't searching any of the other decks.
You
Assuming
would also check the surrounding water, just in case.
Okay, checks the surrounding water again.
But you can have it
Fine.
like go through the portholes, like around the ship, I guess.
That's hard, isn't it? Unless
Freak
someone,
people
someone else
out.
can do that.
All right, fair enough.
Could end up in the wrong
the-
porthole.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Alaris,
the
you,
hawk's
you,
task is more on the outside than the inside.
Alaris, you sort of check her room. Not there. You check a few places. You can't find her.
Okay. I mean, it's not much I can do. He'll keep searching, like around the ship, and he may, if he doesn't come up with anything, he may get asked like deckhands and stuff. He'll just like sitting around to help out.
Okay. Well, if we skip to that part, you
I mean,
essentially ask.
is there a rowboat missing?
No.
So there's no immediate signs. It's just
No,
It's weird for
just
someone to completely disappear off the face of a ship.
gone. When you ask a couple of deckhands, a couple of them sort of say to you, "Oh yeah, we saw her. She went somewhere below decks. I'm sure of it. And you ask another person, they go, pretty sure she was still in Bosty when we left. And then you ask another person, and they go, I don't know. I remember her going in with you, and then she just kind of came out, seemed a little startled, whatever, jumped in the water, swam away.
Wow.
So Hawk didn't see
completely
her.
different stories.
And the hawk wouldn't have seen
Is,
her.
is what you get. Well,
Okay.
anyway,
I mean,
moving on.
The hawk's on patrol, so the
Interesting.
hawk didn't see any. So she's definitely not in the water as per the hawk.
The hawk did not see anything.
send the hawk out further.
Mad suspicious, I suppose.
Unless you just, yeah, that's weird. Very, very strange. Unless you turned invisible for whatever reason.
She's mad, huh? That is still also very suspicious. She does not
Yeah.
seem like the invisible type.
No.
Magical type.
Well, you never know. She could be like an Eldritch Knight or something. But yeah,
So,
interesting.
we'll move on to Slayer. Eventually makes his way into your captain's quarters. Sonny, as a player, I will ask you: is this a headphone off situation?
Most likely, yes.
Okay, then everybody apart from Sonny, headphones off.
Just said no, dude.
Base it on your request.
Yeah.
Okay, headphones off. Slayer comes in. Says, all right there, mate. I've finished. It's a wonderful glyph, if I do say so myself. Little enchantment. It's been a while since I've done one, but pretty sure it's pretty indebted in there. We will no longer have to deal with as much fire damage according to this. I've tested it, and seemingly perfectly fine.
Oh, that's good to know. I mean, is it like, is it fire's never going to work on it, or?
I mean, no, I'm not that powerful, but it's less likely to get damaged. And if there's anything else we can do to avoid that, then it's going to be fine.
So I suppose mechanically we're talking what, resistance?
Resistance. The ship has resistance to fire damage.
Nice. I will say that outside of thing afterwards.
By the way, when you, I'll explain this to the others as well, but when you look around the ship, if you look and inspect this glyph, essentially you see like blood glyphs all around the
Weird noises.
bridge and stuff.
Cool.
Not the bridge, the The upper wood surface that is the barrier before you jump in the ship.
Also,
Okay, never mind. Carry on.
Right, Slayer. I've come to you because
um,
I have been having a little bit of an issue that I think would use your
wheat thin,
expertise.
cheddar cheese and black pepper.
Oh yeah. What exactly? What do you need? I'm happy to help. I can do whatever you need.
So, how familiar are you with Locker?
You see his face drop. He's shocked, very, very shocked. It's like, well, I know he's a ferryman. I also know he's the Demon King, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want to go up against him in any way, shape, or form.
I see.
Why?
He's also a Baylor, if you weren't aware, because he's specific
What's
type.
a Baylor?
It's like a half goat demon with black wings and.
Are you from a different? You're from a different world. Is that what
Yes.
they're called for where you're from?
Pretty much, yes.
Right. Well, I've only known one of him, and his name is Locker.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Anyway, I have an issue. You
Right.
see,
And that issue is
so he's been contacting me,
what?
and he'll open his thing up, his top up to reveal the thumbprint.
He staggers back, and he looks at you for a minute, and then he sort of says, "I know you're feeling, pal," and he starts unbuttoning, and he shows his chest.
Oh no!
It's not a big ashy thumbprint.
Yeah.
It is more like a bite, but it's like a massive
Well, like
snake bite.
but like covering his chest.
It's like across his chest, and it is the four fang holes, essentially. And you can see there's a strip up the middle that's just like a gentle purple. And he sort of rebuttons back up and he says, "You've been marked."
Indeed.
That's from Puika. She's only one of the demon captains that is under his control. You got marked by a demon king. Do you have any idea how terribly dangerous that is?
Well, no, that's why I'm coming to talk to you. Well, you're coming, yeah. I need to figure out what I can do to deal with this. Basically, it's my understanding that because I'm not of this world, I'm kind of under the radar, as it were, to do whatever they want me to do. But I'm not exactly comfortable with doing what he wants me to do.
Have you ever heard of something called a soul or spirit?
Yes.
In your world, did you have them?
I mean, to an extent, people who die could be resurrected, things like that.
Are you telling me? Because there's something in this world that everyone has. It's a soul, and that soul is what is seen by gods, demons, devils. It's the one thing that they can see across the realms. Now, in most cases, it is an even playing field. But if you don't have one, or if your one doesn't come across to our place of existence, then you are capable of achieving great things without any notice from gods, demons, or devils. That mark is Locker's way of being able to see what you're doing.
How did he even put it on me if you can't see me?
I don't know. Did you have anything that's imbued with demonic energy? Anything that's powerful in such a way? Did you have anything that from your world, perhaps something that was potent enough to be infused with by demon magic?
Not really. I was just on a part of a ship and a crew. I really didn't. I was a quartermaster on it, but I wasn't. I didn't have anything like that on me. Just a simple, simple attire.
Strange. Tell me more about the night this happened, because he visited you in your dreams, didn't he?
Yes,
It's the same thing that happened to me with her.
and it really hurt when he did this.
Oh yeah,
And
it fucking kills, mate.
And he keeps reapply it whenever he feels like,
Okay.
and it's causing me quite a considerable amount of pain. And the thing is, he wants me to destroy these artifacts. Destroy? Yeah, no, order to keep them.
Yeah, he said basically to take them and lay
Take them
with
to
in
him.
your bed.
Oh,
And
and to
that's how
destroy
he'll be
them.
able to take them from you.
Oh, he wants the artifacts. Apparently, I have to sleep with them, which is a bit weird. But yeah, and then he will take these artifacts for himself, which giving strong weapons to a demon, especially if he's a king.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
But the thing is, if I don't do it, he's pretty much going to kill me, which I don't particularly fancy either. So what I need to do is find a way to break his hold on me, and I was hoping you would know of a way of doing it. I'm assuming not.
I need to know exactly what happened on the day that he visited you. I need to know if there was anything new you took, or any kind of thing you held or had with you before you slept. Something that allowed him to find you. The thing is,
Bad luck.
I had a ritual. There is a ritual I have done. And Puika's not as powerful as Locker, so I don't know if it'll work, but there is a ritual based on what Puika used to mark me. I was able to refrain her from ever seeing me again. But Puika is not as powerful as Locker. And the ritual will probably take all night. But I need to know exactly what the thing is that connects him to you.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily on me anymore. It just had to be at the time. The only thing I can think of.
He's just asking.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of
was.
is that I'm trying to think when it actually happened. The only thing I can think of is the bad luck blade was the only other thing magically that I touched.
So if you want to roll a history check, I can give you a clue what happened that day that might spark in your mind.
Yeah, history. All right. That nice. Unnatural 20.
Okay. It was Aramor's funeral. There is one thing you took from Aramor's burning remains,
The Navarite,
which was the rod of metal, hot within the staff.
The Navarite.
Something you know, or I'm not sure if Gruzeel knows, but from your world,
Yeah. Navarite's like
is from a demon, a powerful demon.
I don't think he knows where it's from. Oh no, he does. No, they do know where it's from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that you go through. You basically retrace your steps through the day.
Yeah.
You sort of go to suddenly it sparks in your head. You had the funeral, burned his body, picked up the Navarite. When you woke up, it was gone, and the ashy thumbprint remained.
So it's this metal. It's from my world. It's called Navarite. So basically, we were attacked by a very, very large demon. A demon king, I guess you could also call them.
In your world?
He was in my world, yes, and
Right.
he was defeated. His remains were harvested and refined into this metal, which we call Navarite.
Who would do such a thing?
What?
That's insane.
What? The refinement or the defeating?
The refinement.
There is
Demons
special.
are very hard to kill. If you refine it into something, you're keeping that thing alive.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he was dead. I wasn't really involved, And it's a very rare thing. Not many people have access to that kind of stuff.
It just seems strange. Look, if this medal is from your world, then that means that you didn't bring any more with you, did you?
No.
Okay, well that's good. Look, the way I dealt with this is she used venom against me, and the way to solve venom
to basically suck the poison out, or in a sense, you're I don't know how to say it, you're pulling poison out. So the ritual had to be something to do with such a kind of process, a removal of the poison, a sucking of the poison. Now, for you, you're dealing with metal that was, what kind of state was it in?
It was like burnt, but then it was burnt, so it was kind of fused. And then it fused into a clump, because obviously it was in Aramil's rod. It was
Right.
in there somehow. And then when it melted, it kind of melted, but not enough. And then when it cooled, it formed this sort of mass of metal, which I
Right,
then
okay.
took. Oh,
Okay, so
I don't have that metal anymore.
no. It was probably taken by Locker probably has it, but
Yeah.
something that happens to metal that's heated. You know, think of a weapon. It's forged. You heat it, you hammer it into position, and then quench it.
Right.
Cooled to the touch.
Yeah.
Now,
Are you thinking about burning me?
no. Well, no. What I'm thinking is, what you grabbed was hot metal. Hot metal that was unrefined, unpositioned, uncontrolled. What I'm suggesting is we use a ritual to show that control.
Okay.
Something that's done in forging would be the hammering. I'm not suggesting I hammer you. Don't get me wrong. And then you've also got things like, I don't know, the quenching process. Then there's fighting down. I think the quenching process is what we'll do. Water is a natural enemy of a lot of metals. Corrodes them, rusts iron. I think
So
that's where we have to go with this ritual.
so I go for a swim.
No. Okay. I'm going to need you to basically fully trust me and accept what I'm about to do. Okay, headphones on, everybody else.
Yep.
I'm back.
I want to undeafen yourself. Yep.
Yeah, I just did. I was
Okay.
watching National Air Review.
Okay, that's cool. No worries. Okay. And then now, Tim, you would have been able to transport the Balgura down to Umbra quite easily, and then, assumedly, your plan is to prepare a sermon.
Yes. Well, when is the dinner with these mages?
It's in the evening. You can either provide
I'm
the
doing
sermon
one or the
before or
other.
after the dinner.
I would like.
No.
after
You
the
can do
dinner, 'cause
both,
I would
but
like. Yeah. I would like
neither.
for the younger mage to attend the sermon. On my conditions.
Okay, so you want to go to the dinner first. Okay, so the evening comes. Elena has still not been found or seen.
Us.
Gruzeel, the thing is prepared. Essentially, you will have to. It will be when you go to sleep that it will be
Okay.
done.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Right.
But yeah,
now-
I think I'm being told that there's obviously no Elena and she can't be found on the ship will obviously concern him greatly, and he will instruct the crew to keep searching for her while they're away.
I'll tell him like the 3 different stories I've heard.
I mean, if nobody's seen her go to Bosti, and she was definitely here in that meeting,
Mhm.
and the Hawk didn't see any movement in the water,
None did not.
it might be worth. I mean, she can't turn invisible, can she?
How long can she hold her breath?
I mean,
The Hawk would
Could
have
she
seen
go
her go in the
undetected?
water.
I'm assuming she was human, so not that long.
I thought she was an elf.
Is she know? I mean, either way, it's like
Human.
She's
Okay,
human.
Not long.
Okay, cool.
all we can do is search for her and hope that she turns up. In the meantime, I'd rather not miss our appointment. So yeah, so he'll instruct the remaining deck. It's obviously the people who went to the hut, went to Phineas before. Those same people will go with us, and he'll just instruct the people that are left behind to look for them and ask Berry to orchestrate that in his absence.
Sure, I can do that. Don't know where she's gone. Odd.
It's definitely a strange one.
What's Umbra's plans? As Bjorn, I believe, was the one that was.
I mean, he has no interest in going to Elena. But if no one comes to get him, I guess he'll just be inspecting the Balgura.
Everybody, okay. Can you roll medicine for me?
Yep.
Cool. So the rest of you will make your way back to the
17.
Balins comfortably. 17, interesting. You'll make your way back to the Balins comfortably, and you will knock at the door. Umbra,
Mhm.
Balgura, its bones are very strong, and you're comfortably sure that this would be the strongest torso for your plans.
Good.
Benching. He's been
Make a
benching.
Strongest
Yeah.
torso so far.
Yeah.
I went.
You didn't expect tree lifter's torso, so you know.
Arthur.
Yep.
You know the residents of Tier Island used to build everything out of sea creature bones.
Yes.
That means him would have much knowledge of crafting things out of bones.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
If his bones are strong as well, that's probably potentially better bone equipment for because doesn't Umbra
Yeah.
use like
Yeah, that's what I'm
swords and
thinking,
stuff?
Swords
scalpel.
and all
Yeah.
sorts of
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I have a question, but you can get to it later. It's not urgent.
Okay, I'll come back to that then. So Bjorn, Alarias, Elizora. Speaking of Elizora, your hawk, is it going with you or staying around the ship?
Considering it's not necessarily required with us, you can stay searching for Elena.
Okay.
It'll do increasingly wider circle patterns around, looking for Elena around the boat.
Increasingly wider. Okay, I'll keep that
It
in
can
mind. So
travel
kind of
60
like
feet, so
going to
it can
start in
get
a
pretty far.
circle and then.
Yeah,
It's
like an outward spiral.
Yeah. Is it not worth starting in the location where we were having the meeting? So that would be closer towards the town, surely. Because we had the meeting so as soon as after we got onto the ship. So if anything,
No, we didn't.
it's going to be what around
no,
here.
No, because we had to wait for Elizora and Tim and stuff to get back on the boat.
Oh, of
after
course,
we
had the
yeah.
found
meeting
So
her.
that was
everybody got on
that was
board.
here. Yeah,
So you
yeah.
were down there.
Yeah, we were down there. That's fine then. Could be that island then below us. But yeah.
The Hawk
Okay.
travels 60 feet. You always travel to touch the boat, so you just do bigger circles until we get back.
Yeah, yeah.
At some point, I'm going to ask you to roll a perception check for me.
Now, Phil. 19.
Yeah, you can roll it. Just keep hold of it. 19. Okay. One side. The rest of you end up at the Balins. You comfortably got there, because assumedly you travelled the same way you did with the Balgura.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, so away from the towns and everything. So you get there comfortably. You knock on the door. Phineas opens the door and says, "Oh, yes, wonderful to see you all again. I was worried you weren't going to make it for dinner, but it's just already now. So, come in."
Thank you. And Gruzeel will walk in.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Bjorn's just like, "Ugh."
There is fish, my friend.
What's conjured
Happier,
fish, I
yeah.
hope.
Don't worry.
Yeah, better be cooked.
There's cooked and non-cooked fish for our dear friend here.
I will have the non-cooked. Your son, you should know your son is a below average cook.
Wow.
Well,
The man has no arms. Don't expect him to do too well. I heard that, Father.
Dear me.
Elizora, how are you feeling now?
Is he talking
Still,
to me?
Elizora.
Oh, sorry.
still annoyed until you show us the goods.
Yes, well,
And you
dinner
pay as
time
I
is,
do.
yes, of course. Dinner is filled with gifts and discussion.
He didn't pay us the money yet, did he? Did he pay us the money?
Not
Nothing.
yet.
Nothing yet.
I
Okay.
think we should shake him down.
Yeah.
Maybe rough up his son a bit. I don't know.
So the
Let's see,
moment
let's
the
see, let's
deal-
see, let's see.
At the moment, it's still triple, and I think there might be some spending.
Wasn't it quadruple? I could have sworn
Oh,
it
yeah.
was 2,000. Yeah,
Yeah, it's quadruple. Sorry,
It's quadruple, it's 2,000.
quadruple, and then there's still might be some still spending magic items that Alarias had that weren't looked at.
Yep. All Aramil stuff, basically.
Okay, so he brings you in. Seemingly, when you come in this time, the layout's slightly different. It's almost like you're entering from a different doorway, even though it's the exact same door you entered last time. And this time, you end up one hallway away from a great long dining table with a massive fireplace to one side. It is filled with food. This is a feast. This is a feast for far more people than are actually here.
Is it a hero's feast by any chance?
It is
Yeah,
a
not
hero's
100
feast.
Can Tim tell? Can Tim tell like immediately?
Yes, Tim will know this is a hero's feast.
Tim starts dry heaving when he enters.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Can Bjorn sense that it's magical as well, or that something's not quite right about it?
I think
Wait, can
with
wizards even do a
Bjorn,
hero's feast?
These ones can.
you don't know how it's been put here. Just
if
it's here.
Bjorn gets any kind of like tingles, he's not gonna have it as well. He'll just sniff it suspiciously.
Summon it out and then pour.
With your magical ineptitude, I'm going to say no. You think this is a perfectly wonderful
Do I even
feast?
get like a weird, like a tingle when I look at it?
Probably
Alright, he's
not.
fine then. He'll just.
I
happily
don't
do
There's
think
it.
he
nothing
will.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with a hero's feast, anyway.
Bjorn
No.
doesn't trust magic.
Yeah, no, and I don't think Bjorn would have any kind of hindrance. Obviously, Lars, you probably get a vibe that there's some magic here, and you recognize that this is a feast, and you know of the spell Hero's Feast, so you would be aware of it possibly being that. Elizora, I think similar. You've probably seen a Hero Feast before, comfortably.
Probably had it here
Gruzeel,
before.
To be fair, it
Probably
does
not
say
available.
it defines it as a magnificent food and drink, so it must be good.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Takes
it's
an
wonderful.
hour.
Yes, for
It's-
now.
It's lovely. Okay, so you'll get there. Phineas Balin sits at one end of the table with his son sitting pretty much next to him. There is a large row of like 10 seats before the next end of the table, either side. Would you all like to sit down?
Yes.
Sure thing.
Gruzeel will sit like on the long side, sort of near the middle.
Is anyone taking any specific seats, or are you all just sitting down?
Which one's the son again? Is it Phineas?
No, Temrin.
Emrin?
Yep.
Emrin? Yeah. I'll sit as close to him as possible.
Okay, so there is a seat right next to him available.
Assume some sort of unseen servant or butler is ready to
Yes,
clean up
there
anything
are
that's in
unseen
there.
servants
Okay, good.
walking around with wine. There are two specifically unseen servants walking around with wine, and you see there is one animated armor walking around with a tray.
Nice.
If any of the unseen servants try and give Bjorn wine, he's gonna punch the wine like to the floor.
Smack it to the floor.
Yeah.
It's,
So-
it's safe. It's safe, Beyond. Jesus.
They'll go around to everybody like doing the wine. They'll get to Bjorn.
I think
But-
Tim sees Bjorn does it and tries to do the same thing when he gets back.
I mean, it's a bottle of wine and it's an unseen servant, so you can totally hit the wine.
Gruzeel will not drink the wine because
Bjorn will,
the alcohol
will-
thing.
Bjorn will kind of just growl and say,
Alcohol.
"Ah, the stench of magic."
It's all safe, Bjorn. I don't know why you're being such a bad guest.
Well, my friend is perfectly safe.
I
so-
want no filthy magics near me.
As he says that, Alarias is down. Alarias will down it.
Well, I will keep the wine away from you, my friend. Would you like it if I got a bottle myself?
Say again, what's he asking me?
Would you prefer it if I grabbed a bottle myself?
Just keep it away from me. Keep it away from me.
I don't think the wine itself is magical, Bjorn. It's just the person holding it.
Ah, I want no part of this.
Would it help if I poured the wine,
No.
Bjorn? Okay.
Showing weakness again, Bjorn. Go on, Ironside.
Surely you can't be beaten by wine.
If there's any wine nearby, I'm going to punch it again.
Wow.
As an unseen servant walking by, trying to walk past you with the wine, and you just turn and smash it out of its hands, and then just suddenly another wine bottle from the side gets picked up. Wide angles around.
He has a big reach.
We do not want to offend our guests.
I apologize, for this.
Oh, of course, different customs, new people. It happens all the time. I mean, it doesn't actually happen all the time, but I'm trying to be nice.
Fair enough. So, have you and your son thought about joining us? Our offer?
Yes, we have discussed it. I will allow my son to join your journey, but I cannot. But it is paramount that my son eventually does gain his arms once again. So the single requirement of him joining your crew. Wonderful. The single requirement of seemingly will be revealed. He is to regain his arms as soon as possible.
I have a few requirements of my own, but we'll get to those in due time.
Well, I'll let my son discuss them with you. He has beseeched to me his request, and I cannot tell him no. I will continue research, among other things, by myself.
Very well.
As I must. But he shall go with you. I cannot. I will help you in any way I can before. That reminds me. And he brings out a rather large sack of gold. And he sort of sidles it onto the table. Old boots aren't what they used to be. Who am I handing this to?
I guess I'll take that.
Wonderful. Are you adverse to me magically getting it to you?
No. You might want to, wide angle it around Bjorn. But,
I think you're correct there.
by the way, just does it look like 2,000 gold? Like
Yes.
recently? Yeah.
Yeah, like size-wise, it looks like it could be
Yeah.
a bag of 2,000 gold.
Cool.
He brings it along to you. He sort of sidles it over, and it suddenly starts floating magically, and it basically
Eyes it suspiciously.
when it's only floating a couple feet off the ground, and it's moving very, very gently over towards you.
I assume not near Bjorn.
Nowhere near Bjorn.
Okay.
It's taking the widest berth from Bjorn it possibly can.
He just eyes it with his
So it's
like.
like under the table.
Just like,
It gets
His
to
eye and
Bjorn,
his teeth are just like bare.
Holding him back.
and then it goes around the other side of the table. It takes the long way around to avoid Bjorn.
fantastic.
And with it, you see something else on this invisible platform. There is a coin, but it's not a normal coin. It is a very large copper-colored coin with reddish rune inscriptions on it in a circular form.
And that is my my gift to you.
What is
Being
it?
that you are taking my son, my only son,
He sounds a bit
I-
upset about that.
I am.
really should be.
I am hoping that, should there be any danger, should someone need to seek refuge, that is a one time or a couple of times it recharges, but that takes time. It will transport you here to safety in my house with, well, me, with food, shelter.
Can't think of anything worse.
I mean, I would be offended, but you know,
Smash it now.
No, that's all right, Tim. You're not allowed to use it, so that's fine.
I think I
One
should.
person.
Dream of it.
It can be useful.
I think for its safety, I'll hold on to this for now.
Does
Yeah.
it only transport one person? Is it?
as my arcane friend will know, it's a teleportation circle device, essentially. However, it is only small. It took me a while to make, but it is not that potent. It can only transport to, maybe if you're willing to push it with your someone else's own arcane energy, perhaps double that. But it will only transport to however many of you here. But what it will do, and this is the little trick I left on it, it will leave a timed inscription where it was before, and you will be able to use it to get back within the same week. But after that week, that other inscription will fade.
That's a very useful device.
Yes, yes. But it takes time to recharge. It will be useful, but it will be something that will need to be used in dire
Is
circumstances.
that to the exact same point in space, or as if we're on a ship and we did that? Would it
It
take
will
us
be
back to the
marked.
ship?
It will be marked by the ground it is on. If it is on the deck of a ship that is moving, it will reappear on the deck of that ship. If you are at
Marvelous.
the bottom of the ocean, it will reappear at the bottom of the ocean.
That's not ideal, but okay.
I'm just giving you the detail.
No, that's fair. It's good to know. Good to know.
Now, with this,
What if we were like in the air, like falling, for example?
well,
Like, would we?
the trick is to slam part of the ritual with this largish coin. You have to slam it and turn it in the ground, so it might be a little bit difficult on the air. However, if you have something ground-like to hand in the air, I'm not sure how that would work.
As if it
But
were
if you do
a
that,
body.
then you will reappear on the thing. If it were a body, then you will reappear wherever that body is.
That's a good way of
Time of
doing
your
it.
reappearance.
We could do it on a body, throw it down a cliff, and then reappear at the bottom.
I don't recommend that you
It's an
did follow.
infiltration tactic.
No,
Perhaps.
no,
Not
you
used
can't,
to
Tim.
my board's wizard.
I
That's not
don't
the point.
recommend you use it on a live body because I
Oh
think
no,
you
we'll
might
kill it. We'll
killed.
kill it first. Don't worry. We wouldn't do anything as inhumane as like doing it on a live body. We'll make sure it's dead before we throw it off the cliff.
He looks at both of
At the
you,
very
like,
least, we're
between
dead by the bottom.
Tim and Gruzeel with his widened
Remain
eyes
dead.
unblinking, and he's just kind of like, well,
Oh, it's like
Cameron, are
not
you
on a
sure?
person, not on like a person. Obviously, it'd be like an animal,
Yes, we
like a
have bag
deer or
full
a
of
boar or
bones.
something. We wouldn't do it to like a person. No. That'd just be cruel. I don't think I had it coming.
And you're saying doing it to an animal wouldn't be cruel.
I feel we
I
are
mean,
It's precious,
going
isn't it?
slightly off topic here.
we could do it to
Whatever
a
you do with
fish.
it is as you please, but all I can
To
say
be
to you
honest,
is
we could do it to a fish.
once it is used, it takes time to recharge, and that will. I mean, you have to accept that it is very potent magic, so sometimes it will not work immediately.
Okay.
If you try to use it again and it is not ready, I'm sorry, but it will simply just not work. And if you are in dire restraints when you do need it, because you've used it for something such as going down a cliffside, then I think perhaps you have used it unwisely.
I mean,
How long does it charge up?
It is hard to say. The magic is slightly chaotic. Sometimes after a week, it is ready again. Sometimes after a day, but it is mainly chaotic in its action and activity. It's hard to define it definitely. Mechanically,
there's no
you
way
have to
to tell whether it's gonna
roll
work or not.
a 6 on a d6,
Every day.
but you can roll it immediately after using it,
And then
So
what? Once again every dawn.
and once again every dawn.
Fine. Cool.
Does that roll get any harder at any point, or is it always just?
It's
the 6?
always just the 6.
I mean, it's harder to get harder than a 6 on a d6.
Yes.
I could say you have to go up the dice.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
Next
yeah.
time a D8, you've got to get an
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
10, you've got a 10.
Just for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. I'll Gruzeel. Do I need to attune to it?
You don't need to attune to this.
Okay.
I haven't created it in Beyond yet.
Okay, that's fine.
Basically, call it the teleportation coin, and once I finish, I will send the link to add it to stuff.
I'll add that now. Cool. Okay.
What
Right.
about the telly penny?
I'll put teleportation coin. Otherwise, I'm just going to forget. What's this telly penny? To watch
Can you call
TV?
it-
TV?
can you-
Is it a TV on it? Isn't that what my
Yeah.
phone is?
Can you just brackets telepenny?
Penny quarter.
God, fine.
Quarter is funny.
Deary me. Anyway, telecent. No.
A telequarter.
Telequarter.
Teleporter.
TM. Right. So, I believe. Oh, by the way, this is very nice food. Compliments to your chef. Alarias, did you say there was something you needed? Magic items.
Yeah, I have some other items that you could identify. And I pass them over.
Please, I'm happy to.
So I have crystal shards. Probably no use giving them the totem. The necklace and the
I
crystal.
mean, if he's going to do it for free, you might as well do everything.
Okay.
You never
Yeah,
know.
I
Totem.
need-
I'll do totem as well then.
I give him the teddy bear already.
I don't think he did actually. Did you get them the day bear?
No.
Don't remember because I've only identified my stuff as far as I'm aware.
You tried using it, but
He didn't do anything.
You have not supplied the teddy bear before.
I supply the teddy bear.
Okay, so let's do this one at a time. Alarias, if you give me one by one your things, and he'll respond.
so crystal shards.
Okay. He ritually casts the incantation. Well, he takes pearl and he puts it in his mouth.
Is that the normal technique?
He puts it in his teeth to answer you, and he just says, "I have my own technique. Every wish is different. It's whatever you want to do."
Chaotic technique.
I guess everyone has their methods.
And he's sort of doing the incantation, and then yes, these shards, they're not so much something you would use by themselves, but if you were to embed them, weapon, or perhaps something else, they are very potent electrically. I feel there is some lightning spirit in these that could be very beneficial on weapons of some sort. If you take this to some kind of magic item creator or some kind of blacksmith and who's knowledgeable in the arts, you could probably give or gift some kind of magical lightning effect to something. But that is to the creator's design. This is simply the material.
So those are the shards we got from the dragons, right?
No, these are the Aramil shards. That I had
Umbra
noted
can take
down.
a look.
That's
if you
from
want.
the staff lightning staff, isn't it?
These the staff from the
No,
Kraken.
these are
race.
Aramils belonging to crystal shards.
Oh, the crystal shards from Aramel's belonging.
which I believe are
That's a scannel crystal.
for
isn't it?
Lilies.
that's the
yeah,
scannel
yeah,
crystal.
yeah,
That is
okay.
yeah,
magic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting.
yeah.
Okay. He does the same. He does the same thing again, and then he goes, "Yes. This is not of this place. This is something deeply magical, but not here. I sense that perhaps the potency of this has depleted since it has arrived on this place. But perhaps if you were to gift it with such power, it would return much greater power. I think you could use these as some kind of arcane focus, or in the right hands, perhaps embed it with certain magical properties that could then be used on something else. But again, this is material more than something that could do something magically itself.
Okay. But you think it would be possible to bring that potency back?
I sensed that the magic that was on this was from another realm or universe or something in the multiverse of things, but it can be returned. It simply needs to be repowered by such a great source that powered it initially.
Actually, I have a question regarding that. You know, you were talking about teleportation magic earlier, going through realms and such.
Yes,
Could
that
you-
is my
could
main
you-
research.
Could you not use these as an anchor?
Interesting.
Because these things come from the same place I'm from.
What an interesting concept. An anchor between two and his hands have twisted and his eyes are wide. He's not looking at you anymore. He's now muttering to himself. An anchor between two universes.
I think I derailed him.
And then if you possibly could... yes. Perhaps. If we could repower these crystals, my friend, and give them the magic potency that they originally had within the place that you are originally from, perhaps you could use them as an anchor. But you would still need magical potency enough to give them more power than any wizard I know. Even the greatest of wizards are not that powerful. You need something that is beyond that power. Something that would require all the energy from a master of this very universe or a god.
Can we not combine? You know, get a bunch of wizards in a room together, combine that power.
It would take many of you. I only know a few that are amongst the highest grade, and most of them are dead. You would
What about
require some
What about the magic of a dragon?
dragon.
Dragon.
Yes, a dragon could be at least one of your sources. Certain dragons are very potent indeed. But what I'm talking about is something even dragons would not inherently be able to do, but a group of them perhaps. A group of them, or a single item that is more potent than a singular dragon perhaps could do it. You would need their permission, their full energy. You might kill them.
I see.
It is
Good to know.
Universe hopping is not to be lightly tempered. It takes great power. It is worse than the Dunamantic traditions and how much power they can take.
I see. Wow. It's good to know. Sorry to disturb you. Carry on.
Oh, no. I love chatting like this. This is my subject of full talk. And if I truly went into it, I would bore you.
Sure not already?
Yes, Elizora, we understand. You care about the money and your little artifacts and nothing else.
Wizard, yes.
Next I've got the totem.
Totem.
Quick one.
He puts the pearl in. He presses the pearl to his lips, and then he's like, stops. There is no magic here. I sense only sentimental value.
Okay. Nothing for us here. We got the necklace next.
Which necklace is this? This is the necklace from
Aramel's
Aramel.
necklace. Yeah.
Is that's the elder necklace, isn't it?
This is the magic? No.
It's the elder's necklace, isn't it? From the druid village, I would have thought.
Was it on the medallion?
But it's the medallion.
Is it the medallion? Did he have that?
Mm.
Oh dear. Okay. Interesting.
This is very interesting. This is a very specific kind of protection, specific abjuration. It is against your mental effects. This is very protective of such a thing. This is powerful magic. It is not from here, but you could certainly use it. It would protect you from someone trying to affect your mind in such a way. Could be degraded down, used for another purpose. I'm not sure how potent it is. It seems again it is not of this world. I have a sense that perhaps it is where you are from, my dear friend.
I think so. We were traveling with a group of people who had medallions such as this. I didn't really know what it did. I just thought it was like, I don't know, like a uniform or something.
Yes, I think that perhaps you are slightly deluded. It is, in fact, magical. You will find that it will be useful for one of you, or perhaps, if you wish, you could break it down, discover its patterns, its uses, and maybe learn to use certain magical properties from it. But it's definitely something that protects the mind.
How much is such a thing worth?
I think we'll be keeping this one.
I have not seen anything like this before. I could not tell you. I would
Yes.
say
What
it's
a
highly
hazard
going
a
to be
guess.
great.
It's not so hard. A hazard a guess, is it not?
It is magical, true, but it protects from only one kind of magic, and I have no way to ascertain how powerful it is. I do not think it will be able to protect too well against mind magics if it is from a different place. Things tend to lose their grasp of magic when they are removed from the weave they are from.
Yeah, but other people don't have to know that.
This is true, that is up to your salesmanship.
Well, give us a base price, and then maybe we can go from there. Stop
Alright.
hiding your words, man. Use them. Give us the direct answer again. Come on.
So this is probably something along the lines of, you may be able to put it off for 600 gold, or if your salesmanship is not good and nobody believes you, well, then you're probably looking at more like 60, because it's a nice piece of necklace.
Interesting.
That is up to you. Is there anything else, my dear friend?
We do have a crystal orb. It's the last item from Aramil.
Crystal orb. Interesting. He puts in the pearl and holds onto the orb for a little while. He sort of caresses it, shapes around it. When his eyes open, you don't see his pupils there.
What happens to the orb? Is the orb no change or?
The orb,
Is that normal?
when
Like,
you
is that
see the orb, his widened eye is on the orb, and it's looking around, and it seems like his entire eyeball and the orb have switched.
The hell?
That's just
And
rude.
God.
he's looking around, and you see like him there as he's caressing it is just murmuring, his eyes wide, with pupilless, colorless. He's murmuring and murmuring, murmuring. Not words that anyone can understand. It's gibberish essentially. And suddenly he stops. What? What's happening?
What did you
Oh,
see?
do you want me to look at this orb?
You already did.
What? No, I didn't. I
Yeah.
remember such a thing.
Where's your pearl? It's already in your mouth.
Oh yes, I was about to start. Perhaps.
No.
Let me
What?
continue.
Your
No, you
eyes
got-
went. You lost your eyes, and then your eye was in there.
Temrin
Yes,
turns to his
you
father
must
and
be
says,
double
"Yes,
charged
father,
now."
they are right. Your eye was in the orb. Was it? That is odd. I didn't think I was that cuckoo. Somewhat cuckoo, but not that cuckoo. How strange. This is rather embarrassing. I suppose I could try again, maybe.
I mean, if it's affecting your memory, maybe you should wear that necklace while you're doing it.
Brilliantly genius idea. Hold on. May I?
Yep. I'll give it to him.
Puts the necklace on. Takes the orb. Takes the orb again. Pearl in his mouth. Same thing happens again. Starts muttering. This time, he looks dead at Alarias.
Oh, I think so.
Second.
Fucking hell. I don't think he looked dead in a while.
Can you roll a wisdom saving throw, please, Alarias?
Wow. Is this for it's only a comment at a session?
Fair. I was wondering when I was going to bite me in the ass.
Just now.
That's 15.
15. You hear a voice in your head. It's not his voice. It's a different voice. It's a little girl's voice saying, "I'm trapped. Please let me out. I've been trapped for so long. I can't see. I used to be able to see, but I can't see."
Can I reply?
Yeah.
I mean,
if you want
I'll
to.
try. I'll try to reply and ask, who is this? Who are you?
Same thing again. Please help me. I can't see. I can't see.
Kill her
That's right.
immediately, I think. Yep.
Well, assuming this is just in his head, so he can't hear it.
Suddenly, it's gone. You can't hear the voice anymore, and his eyes go over again, and he spits the pearl out, and he says, "Nope. You want me to look at the orb, right?"
Jesus.
I guess the necklace didn't do anything.
Well,
did see the
something
same-
happened that time. I heard a
I'm
little girl.
sorry. I did not realize I was wearing your necklace. I apologize. This is yours. Oh, there you go. Is there anything else that you want me to look at? You want me to look at the orb?
No, I'll take that all back.
All right. Is there anything else you want me to look at?
That's it from me.
Wonderful. Anybody else? I am at your disposal. Of course, if anyone has any other.
Tim's teddy bear?
We've had quite enough of your, dark arts for the day, in my opinion.
Did you want him to get a look at your teddy bear?
Not
No.
that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So he's like, well, all right then, and he puts in his dressing gown like robe. He just puts his pearl in the pocket, and he continues to eat for a little bit, and then he says, the other thing I wish to offer you before you leave is I have a great library. I've done many research over the years, and well, I wish to aid you in any way I can, really. So if I can help you at all, please consider it.
Any scrolls you'd be willing to partake with?
Alas,
spells?
I have plenty of parchment, but no scrolls specifically, if I believe what you are meaning.
Do you have any books about creatures?
Yes, I do. I do have a book about creatures. It's very funny. Very interesting man. He made very many notes. I can see if I can find it for you.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Lovely. I'll take a look in a minute. After dinner, of course.
Of course.
Alarias,
Mhm.
could you roll a history check?
Ooh.
Cool. 16.
When he mentions library, you get a flash of a much younger Phineas Balin with brown hair, much longer, looks a lot more like his son does. Still the wide eyes and the thin sort of facial features. But he's in the library and he's handing you a book. And the book is on it's multiple different texts, but it's history of the flood, and specifically he throws out a bunch of pages and points to one, and it says flood was devastation brought about by greed and a power-hungry Joneptia. Banished though she may be, her devices, her artifacts, whatever you call them, are spread across the ocean, and only the gods know where they are.
Interesting.
That flashes. You get another flash after that. Phineas is much older this time, and he mentions he's been working with someone on the artifacts as a side project, and he knows that Bloodbeard is interested. And he says, yes, obviously it's a side project and doesn't matter that much, I guess, but there was something about them that hooked me a little bit. You see, my dear Alarias, we've known each other a long time now. It's been a long time, not to forget, but there is something deeply wrong about them. I fear they were not made just for the purpose of being here. They are made for something else more. And that's where your memory ends.
Okay. I mean,
And
as soon as I
it's all in the library, his library, which is stacked
Ah.
full of books, tall, multiple like ladders, and there are some floating carpets along the ground which levitate up and down. It's a beautiful library from memory.
So when I come back into the room, I'm just going to turn to Phineas and say, Phineas, you've been lying to me all this time.
What do you mean?
Do you not recognize me?
Sorry.
Alarias?
Faces tend to mesh together these days. What was your name again?
Alarias, these wizards aren't to be trusted.
See him every few years. He tends to forget you. That's old Finn for you.
Yeah.
He's an old man now.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair,
memory than me?
Elizora. I remember you very well. You made
I saw
quite the
the
impression.
Exactly. I
Oh.
do that on purpose, for you, boy.
Are you sure we've met?
Yeah, I just had a flashback. You know a lot more about the artifacts than we first thought.
No, I don't.
Yes, he does.
Yes, you do.
Finn,
No, I
we've
don't.
been working on for
Elizora,
ages. Yes, Finn. Every so often, I come back here and you give me your notes, what you found so far. We change some more things. I'll give you some pointers. You give me some pointers. And we go our own separate ways. And 10 years down the line, I come back. We do the same thing. Sometimes sooner,
Elizora,
sometimes later.
Elizora, I only remember the portal incident. Are you telling me we've met other times before that?
Every time. At least. How old are you now? How old are you now, Finn? At least like 9 or something. So at least it must be at least like 7 times.
I gave you some documents for some research and something to do with artifacts, but I don't remember any detail. Would I be very helpful?
You leave notes for me every time. I come here and you give me some more notes when I come back. I give you some of my notes, give me some of your notes. Any tidbits of mine we share, and then so on and so forth.
If your memory's that bad, maybe you should start writing a journal.
He does.
Strange.
I
kind
don't.
Timon writes stuff down too. Don't need Timon in.
Well, not with my actual hands. Father, are you okay? Something's off. I don't quite feel myself. I think I should perhaps, retire for the night. I apologize. I am not feeling well. Temrin will continue the festivities. He stands and begins to walk out.
I guess all that magic tired him out.
Yeah, maybe that orb is having some sort of effect on him.
True.
Nah, he was out before.
My father is strange at best, and this is odd. Obviously, you and I, Elizora, have never met, but my father many times over decades, but he never mentioned you.
I mean, he forgets. That kind of makes sense.
Oh, it's
Oh,
offended.
I mean, you understand this, my arcane friend. We as wizards tend to have quite good memories.
Or so I thought, but I lost mine as well.
Yes,
Maybe the
this is
same
the
happened to him.
dark path you will embark upon. This is what you will become.
Wow.
Tim, come on.
The Inspector, you put together the
I don't need
pieces
his back
to
chat,
build
Tim.
up
Come
your
on.
name. I am. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to go have my sermon. I won't be here much longer.
Yep. Pray you.
Well,
Timon,
before
do you
we go to
mind
the ship,
sharing notes?
I must quickly say goodbye to my father. I would suggest just look in the library.
Yeah, he was supposed to get me that creature book, but I guess that's not happening.
Well, the library is magical. There is a desk. If you write down what you're looking for, it will guide you.
Oh, that's handy. That kind
Yes.
of also makes sense considering.
Or when you
Yeah.
have a large library, you tend to think of ways to better index.
Indexing is important.
So I am told.
Bjorn's going to ask, is writing the only way to request information from the library?
Well, you could ask someone to write it for you, or if you talk to one of the unseen servants, they can write it down for you.
I don't think that's a good idea. He'll probably punch them.
Yeah.
But they're unseen. How will you hit them?
I mean, he managed the other ones.
Well, he hit the bottle, but I don't know so much about hitting the unseen servant itself.
I killed the
Asking-
invisible monster for you earlier today, you fool. You won't do this again.
Yeah, talking to the unseen servants is out of the question, but Bjorn's going to grab Alarias at some point.
Can I just whisper to him, do you not know how to write? I don't wish to write. Could if I wanted. I'm more than happy to teach you, Bjorn. We'll have a
would
lot
do
of
that.
time on the ship.
You would do that for me.
I think it's a necessity for people to be able to write.
I mean,
Bjorn's
can
gonna
you,
be part of the crew.
can you read, Bjorn?
If I wanted to.
That's a no. You may need to teach him how to read.
We're gonna have to start from the basics here.
Give me some picture books.
Bjorn, Bjorn will give
There
Alarias.
he is for Apple.
Bjorn will give Alarias like a big bear hug.
Oh,
And then
dear.
without letting go of the hug, he's going to go over to the library because he needs Alarias to write down something.
I mean, I was gonna go to the library anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, you could lift him.
I
That's
would
fine.
like to the library as well.
Yeah.
Okay, you
So
go to the
will
library
I.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so will I.
Temrin sort of leads you all to the library first, and then says, "Before we leave, I shall say goodnight to my father. Perhaps I can glean what confusion he's had."
Yes. We'll be here.
He sort of looks over and says, "Desk over there," and a purplish, translucent hand picks up a quill, and sort of dots on the paper on this sort of old wooden desk, and says, "Write down what you wish there, and it will lead you to it, or
Cool.
it will get it for you. It's dependent on what gets there first."
I'll be taking the bag of gold with me, by the way. Just
Cool.
While
Put it in the
going
bag
in,
of
just
holding.
I don't have a bag of holding.
Here we do.
Do we?
No,
Yeah.
Umbra does.
Umbra does.
Umbra has it. Umbra
No,
has.
we have one
haven't.
as well. It was in the chest. That's where the current gold is.
Who
in the bag.
has that though? Kethra.
You do.
Do I?
Yes.
I've
All
not
the
got it on.
captives.
I've
Maybe-
not
Maybe
got it on
get
my
burned with
belongings.
Kefra.
Oh no.
We
Alright,
have
I
the
bet-
bag of
I better
holding
add-
is
I
where
better-
the money is.
Okay, I better
Use everything.
It's like
Yeah.
our bank, yeah.
yeah.
I'll
All right,
save.
let me add bag of holding then to my thing. I didn't have that.
Uh,
All right.
Are Alarias and Bjorn alone in the library?
No, they're all together.
No,
Yeah, all
you're
together,
all
yeah.
together.
Oh, okay. He'll put him down and then he's just gonna wait.
Okay, well, Temrin
So, yeah, if-
leaves.
I put all that gold in the bag of holding then.
Cool. So that's 2,000 gold coins.
Yep.
Add to.
I'll add it to
you
me.
want to add to?
I'll add it to me at the moment until we get back to the ship, and then.
Oh,
I'll
it's
add
the
it
bag
to
of
the
holding.
ship.
It's in the ship.
All right, all right.
They're
all
one
right,
on the. They're one and the same.
all right, all right, all right. I'll do that. Anyway, carry on. Do carry on.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what are people doing?
I want to ask the library a question, but I don't want other people to be around.
Okay.
Can we ask it a question like recommendations? Like, I'm looking for this kind of book. Can you recommend me a
What
book?
will you do? Nighttime reading that involves elves.
Are you gonna write down? Do you recommend any books? Question
yeah.
mark.
Well, I'll probably go for the history of the flood because I think that's a good one to get.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, a history book for you is probably the best thing because it will spark.
Yeah. Well, also for Gruzeel as well.
Well, Gruzeel's
about
probably
it, well.
going to take a creature one first, and then I suppose borrow the history one off you afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, are we allowed to take books? I mean, oh, he's not here. I forgot.
As long as they bring him back, he's not too fussed normally.
I mean, would he remember that it's gone anyway?
Probably not.
His index will remember.
Oh yeah, the indexing.
Take all we can carry.
There is a piece of parchment, an inkwell. Is
So I'm
anyone
gonna-
writing anything down?
I'm
on it?
gonna write book about Flood's creatures, or creatures of Flood, should I say?
Your ink fades, and then more ink comes up and mentions two words with question marks next to it: extensive question mark or fiction question mark.
Extensive. Extensive? I assume that means that normal. There's no point doing fictional creatures.
Is there though?
Mm.
You never know, yeah.
Imagine what fictional creatures there are in the D&D universe. It must be pretty
Yeah.
spooky.
All right. Both. Yes.
Or maybe it's just like house cats
Yes.
and stuff.
Both. Why not?
What do you write? Both.
Both.
Okay.
There are always some truth to myths, so it's always worth.
Okay, so two titles here before you. The first one is The Adventures of Captain Star Creek.
Nice.
The three even.
Well.
I get this wrong. The second one reads Mystic Majesto's Mysterious Monsters.
Nice.
Where's the
And
Jesto
then-
from? I do know that.
Seriously?
Walking out the balls.
It's
Have
Talion.
you forgotten?
Yeah, it was you.
It's Talion. It's Talion's stage name.
Yeah.
Or like his little...
Oh, I forgot. Oh man, I was literally like, that's so familiar. Where have I heard that?
Yeah.
And the other one is Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Nice.
Hey.
Excellent. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Um,
So yeah, he will get all those books out and start reading. Almost giddily.
So Volo's Guide
Reading.
to Monsters is
Yeah.
Volo's Guide to Monsters, obviously.
Obviously.
The Majesto one has sort of all creatures that have like an illusion panache to them,
Okay.
and it tends to be sort of like pixies and more towards like the fey creatures. And there's a couple things in there that you read you're not sure are real, but if you cross-reference it with a Volo's guide, you are certain they are not real.
Okay. Fair
It's
enough.
very, very made up and very ridiculous.
All right.
The
Sounds about
Adventures
right.
of Captain Starcreek is like a chronological story, and it starts with the Dragonborn Starcreek, who becomes a captain of a ship with his wizards, and
Okay.
they go across all the seas. And essentially, summary is during their pillaging and great monsters that they fight and great things they defeat, Captain Starcreek gets greedy for fame and greedy for more, and suddenly wants some kind of weapon can kill anything in a single shot. And so he seeks to make such a thing with his wizards, who use or pray to gods to assist them. But it's not a god that answers, it's a devil. For the sacrifice of all the mages' lives, Starcreek agrees to create this pistol. And
Huh.
this mystical pistol, every time it shoots a person, it absorbs their soul, gives it to the devil.
Interesting. Interesting.
It is the devil, Davy,
Oh no.
takes them.
Mm.
And it is the devil, Davy, created this pistol.
Interesting. Very interesting.
It is also noted that in the pistol, the ammo never ends, and it gets hungrier and hungrier.
Soul Edge. Hit a pistol.
By,
Yeah.
by the end of the book, Starcreek basically goes on a crazy mass murdering spree because this pistol wants to kill everything it can until he
Jeez.
eventually kills himself with the gun.
My God.
Wow. That's
Didn't
savage.
say anything
Lock,
about where the pistol
lock
might
a
be now.
Demon King.
Yeah.
Happened to the
Lock a
pistol.
Demon King.
It does not. The tale ends with Starcreek's death. The pistol has never been seen or heard from again. Reads in
I
the
wonder
tale.
if, and that's not one. I would be interesting if that's one of the artifacts. But
Is this related to Gruzeel and his black mark?
Well, it's the devil Davy that creates it. There's no mention of Locker.
Oh, okay.
Dark
Oh, he's
Creek's
in
pistol is
servitude to
indeed
Davy.
an artifact.
Nice.
Elizora
oh,
has.
is it an art? It is an artifact. Okay.
We can discuss where Elizora thinks it is later.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, yeah, he would come to like with the sound of this kind of weapon. I think he would come to Elizora about like it being an artifact because I think it's certainly an interesting and very dangerous weapon.
yep.
What does anyone else write on the script on the parchment? Every time someone writes on the ink fades and a inked reply appears.
All right, Joy Leaf.
Okay.
Holy text.
1 million results.
1 trillion. Okay.
Hashtag fake
So
news.
Freaking just like rolls and rolls and rolls out.
there are 2 titles that appear. One is the Battle of Flood, and the other that appears is Where'd All the Deities Go?
Okay. But none specifically on Joy Leaf or her practices.
Well, you're just given the titles. It's sort of if you want to.
Just given the title. Okay. I would track down both. of
Okay,
those,
if you
yeah.
track down both, basically the first one is a scripture explaining the rumors and the texts. When you look at this book, it looks like a lot of pages have been ripped out. A lot of pages have been stuck back in. It's very mixed up. It looks like Phineas maybe had to fiddle with piecing this book together. But the Battle of Flood, essentially Joe Neptia rising up, force of the water,
using her artifacts to essentially take all the land away, and from that taking worshippers away from all the gods. While some of the gods were able to pull together and banish her, others lost their followers and became barely essences of themselves, scrapes upon the world you know, a leaf that had fallen from a tree. They are barely anything of their former selves. It reads as well that after Joneptia's banishment, it seemed that only the current deities were the ones that remained, though there are rumors that some of the old deities did survive. They are weakened to barely be a breeze on the air. In the other book, Where Did All the Gods Go? It's kind of a comedic show on a comedic topic of, well, you know, we had all these deities and where did they all go and what happened to them, and it's some of it's a lot of joking around, but the truth behind what you're reading, you sort of sense, is that a lot of these deities that can't be destroyed because of what their purpose is, that what they're for, things that can't officially go undone. Some wander the world as immortals. Some embody the essence of what they are for. Some seemingly just whispers on others' ears. But the main conclusion is that, in truth, if there's enough worshippers for anything, it can become a god.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Umbra.
And that's the
Very
punchline of
interesting.
the whole thing.
Yeah. Cool. I think I'll take the second book with me.
Cool.
First book I'll throw to the ground.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, but alright.
Elizora, is there anything you particularly want to write?
Artifacts.
Artifacts.
Rexec.
The ink appears and it says, details or tales.
So both situation, I think.
So you see a lot of the books that have been mentioned before about the Battle of Flood and other things that reference Joneptia and her use of the artifacts and then them getting sprayed out. All those books are mentioned.
To be fair, she's probably
And
read
then-
those before.
And then you also see one title, but it's smudged. Now, you've been here before, you've been in this library before. That's not normal. The only way it could be smudged is if this wasn't a proper book, never had a title, or it's something that's simply scriptures and pages put together without any kind of like hard backing or anything.
Does that piece of parchment tell you where the thing is, or does it just, or is it telling you the title, or is it telling you like a location?
It tells you the title. Now I'm going to go through the information first, and
Okay.
I was going to because I completely forgot to actually explain what it does. But basically, you see the title, and after you see the title, the glowing light that's sort of in the lamps, a globule appears out, and it starts guiding you. It starts sort of going towards the books. But if you wait long enough, a book appears back, hovering above this globule light.
Ah, nice.
And then the globule of light absorbs back into the lamp, and the book is settled onto the desk.
Handy.
This ink splodge, Elizora, you know, has to be one of those things, because if it was a proper titled book, it would have a written title.
Yeah, I mean, notes are better for in this instance because they're more likely to be new.
you get the notes? When you read the notes, it tells you a lot of what you already know. But what it also tells you is that Phineas, while exploring the realms, got a sense that a lot of other things from other realms are seemingly tracking these artifacts. What else really kind of confuses you is in these notes, he mentions all the things you know, but he wasn't the one that told you any of these things. And he mentions something else as well.
I told
He
him
know
these things, some of these things.
perhaps, but some of these things you've discovered since you last met him. He mentions as well that the fleet are searching for these artifacts. And one other thing he mentions is that he believes for the commander of the fleet to have such knowledge and such accurate searching for these things, he must have some kind of tie to this, to Joneptir in some way, or he must have some kind of knowledge or some kind of scripture that's giving him more detail, because the fleet are being very, very targeted about what they're doing. What else you read is that because he knows the fleet are being more targeted and studying their movements a little bit more for the search of these artifacts, what he's realized is that they have searched in the southeast, near the center circle, or something quite recently. He has also put in a note of not all the artifacts are where they were put, not where the gods left them. Someone has been disturbing them since I sensed this. And he mentioned something else of, she visited me again in my dreams. She told me I was onto something. What does she want? Who does she really care about? Another mention further down the line. I look upon these pages now and see nothing but blankness, though I remember writing in them. I look upon memories of my time in this library, and all I see is blankness, though I have lived in them.
So something is potentially taking his memories.
Yeah.
And you also notice there's, near the end, before that's written, there are pages ripped out.
When was the last time she saw Phineas? And how old is Temrin?
Temrin is in his mid-30s.
So he's never said,
I
he said he
sh-
never met you before, so
But
you
I
haven't.
she
must not-
should have.
The last time you met Phineas would have been,
She does the 10-year cycle.
yeah, 10-year cycle. So would have been probably exactly a decade ago.
So he would have been 20, but you've never seen him before.
Hmm.
That's odd.
I mean, you
We should
haven't
get-
asked about Temrin and Phineas's situation.
We should kill it.
This is
to be sure.
well. This is interesting because what it means,
Mhm.
if something's taking his memories, they're planting new ones.
It's Temrin, man. He's evil. What's he?
And that could potentially mean, yeah, Temrin is not his son,
Or
and he's coming on our ship.
time. So it's or time.
Yeah.
So time. So it's time. So time is running differently here in this pocket dimension of his. He should have. How old is Phineas to Elizora's mind? It must be in the 90s, I expect.
Yeah, early 90s.
It's way beyond. It's way further than a natural human.
Yeah, because it's like 70, isn't it, roughly?
So
in
it's like
D&D?
80s is 80s.
70, 80.
You
I
can-
know he's a wizard. Wizards generally do live
Yeah,
longer, but
You can assume he's
Yeah.
also perhaps attempted ways of slowing his aging process, as most wizards do look for ways to cheat death.
I think Phineas has done the dirty and made a deal to make his life longer. The promise of information. He's made a deal with the devil. I bet.
Sounds like it. Maybe that's how he prolonged his life. I am still very suspicious of if this. So, what do you reckon? Tamarind is his son then,
I think
or do you
he
think
is.
he's something else?
I think he is.
What you saying?
What I'm thinking, this is a time because we know that the beds you get your rest is normal outside of Shihara here.
Yeah.
So there's already some time dilation going on to make that happen.
But I thought that was just a rejuvenation thing. That's not a time thing.
Yeah, but
It's not-
he's a
it's not-
wizard. He's not a rejuvenation. He's not an Abjura wizard, is he? He's a teleportation wizard.
In this world,
He's a
he
conjurer.
has mentioned.
He's done Dunamancy, hasn't he?
He's mentioned Dunamancy, which you know is time and gravitational magic, and he has experimented with it.
Did
I don't
we-
think any of you would know how in depth he has.
Yeah. Did we notice?
Plus,
any
he's got to have.
weird-
Plus, he's got to have met a woman willing enough to do that dirty, and then have a kid.
Don't be insulting.
I mean,
And then
the other
just leave.
The other thing as well is like, did we notice when we left any weird difference in time? Like we were there for 4 hours, but only an hour or something passed outside, or anything like that.
Seemingly, no. You didn't notice any overall difference of being in the place, and then when you
He's
left,
portal
it
hopping.
was.
If he's portal hopping as well.
Yeah. I mean, unless Tamarind came from from somewhere
from a different dimension,
potentially, or it's him from a different time.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Phineas wouldn't have a recollection of that because he might have just lost the memory. Tamarind could be abused.
He's gonna deal with the devil, and time shenanigans have been going on.
So, you discover that Bjorn and Alarias.
Yep.
Well, I'm saying Bjorn and Alarias because I believe Bjorn is
Oh.
planning on asking you a question.
Mhm.
The rest of them are in-depth reading.
Yeah.
If Bjorn would feel that you have some comfortability. By the way, I forgot to tell you all. You all have your hit point maximum has increased to by 7 points.
Why?
Nice.
Hero's Feast.
Hero's Feast.
Forever
Oh,
or
no Umbra then. Okay. Never mind.
24 hours.
Or 24 hours.
is it likely to matter? Like 24 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe. Depends
If
what you
I'm
plan
not
on
on
doing in the next
max,
24 hours.
if I'm not on max and I get these,
It's your current goes up as well. If you change your max HP modifier, it does both for you. So if you click on your HP, where you normally give yourself 10 HP, at the bottom there's a max HP modifier. So just put 7 in there, and that will increase your minimum and your maximum by that amount. So it'll do it for you.
yeah, it's cool.
Which is quite handy. It's almost as if they thought about these things. Do we get other stuff as well, like advantage on wisdom saves or something? I think I saw.
You do, yeah. So you were cured of any diseases or poisons. You're immune to poison and being frightened, and all wisdom saving throws have advantage.
Nice.
For the next 24 hours.
Oh, it's handy. Okay. So yeah, what's Bjorn getting? What's Bjorn going to write
Uh,
down on the parchment?
Well, he'll ask Alarias to write down books on shapeshifting.
Shapeshifting.
Yeah.
Bjorn, you hiding more stuff up your sleeve here? Oh wait, no
Kind
sleeves.
of looks puzzled. I
I
have no sleeves.
yeah. Shit. Okay, he'll go along with it. He'll put shapeshifting. Well, he'll write it
Shapeshifting.
down on the parchment.
Okay, so what will come up is curses, druids, or arcane magic.
Alarias will have to relay this to Bjorn.
He wants the curses on.
Okay, he'll write down curses. It's like you've got a communicator with you.
A few titles come up. One is the pull of the lunar moon, and that is basically were creatures essentially, and how were creatures are affected by the moon cycle and what they are and everything. Another one is a tale called The Hag and Me. And The Hag and Me.
Is that romantic for?
Well, The Hag and
is it
Me.
fiction or non-fiction?
Oh, it's a tale, whether you believe it or not. It's up to you.
Oh man.
Essentially, a hag and has her beautiful form and falls in love with a man, and she loves him. They marry, they stay together. One day, her form falls before him, and he's so utterly disgusted he tries to kill her.
Wow.
God.
Savage.
When he tries to do this, she transforms him into a dog. And forcibly, that dog is the most loyal dog she has ever had. And I think the tale would probably end, and you can still hear the howls in the night, the pained groans of a man who made one devastating mistake.
Never trust a hag.
Just a hag.
Tell me about it.
There is another tale.
What's this one called?
This one is called The Awakened Creature. Now, the awakened creature is entirely a first-person point of view in the book, and first the creature walks on all fours, lives in a forest amongst the fey creatures, lives in peace and harmony, and one day is met by a traveler. The traveler asks, "Wish to be more intelligent?" He asks, "Do you wish to speak like I do?" The creature nods. Curiouser and curiouser this creature has become in this stranger, this man. "Then I will teach you," the stranger says, hooded and cloaked. Throughout the story, the stranger teaches the creature how to read, how to write, how to be like them, until the creature no longer walks on all fours but on 2 feet. The creature walks amongst the Fae, but now they do not look on him, or the creature, I should say, in smiles and happiness. Now they look on them with confusion and fear. The creature is cast out by the Fae for unknown to the creature of what is wrong, until the creature one day looks in a pond and sees the stranger's face placed theirs.
Whoa,
Whoa.
it's quite creepy.
As creature looks around. The stranger is but a simple wolf. Wild creature looking back at them. And the wolf speaks in the stranger's voice. I have traded with you, for I seek to be wild and free. You seeked, and you sought my order, restriction. Careful of your choices. And as the wolf ran back to the Feywild, the creature could no longer follow. Creature was no longer what it once was, wild and free.
Yeah. That's dark.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's very dark. Wow, it's like a horror story.
That's great, yeah.
Those are your 3 from the shapeshifting.
Okay. Interesting.
Does
Bjorn
anybody
will,
want to
will-
look
will
for any other
respond.
books or say or write anything else?
Well, it's just Alarias, I
Um,
guess.
Yeah, I've got a couple things, but if Bjorn wants to make his choice.
Well, he's going to be
Uh,
reading all those books. I don't think
Oh,
he can.
that'll be
okay.
reading them all,
Loris
basically.
has to read them to me. So.
Oh, Alarias has to read them, so
Oh,
yeah, you'll
shit,
probably
yeah.
take it as well now.
Well, yeah, you might as well make your choice. Alarias will be reading out. So.
Well, I think if you're reading out loud, that confirms something else for me. Well, after you're done, Laris, you haven't been told go home in an hour or anything. If you
Yeah.
want to write anything down and take any books.
So yeah, I want to find the history of the flood, because that kind of came back in this flashback.
Okay.
Just to read.
The history of flood. It's specifically stated in the sort of prologue of this that this is a tale of rumors and distinction. There is no confirmed evidence of what truly happened, unless you are to believe the gods.
Mm.
In the tale and the history of flood, Joneptia took up her forces of the underwater world to sack and pillage the land. Landlubbers. She used forces of great magic, which she both stole, forged, and used her captains wielding them to take such places. And in the end, they were all returned to her. Once they were, she used them to devastate the lands, break apart continents, smash mountains, sink entire islands, until what is left is the flood you see today. Before she could make her final attack, gods united against her. Though they usually have a rule against meddling in the things of mortals, Joneptia had already broken such a rule. Together they banished her, before any more of them would lose such worshippers against her might. Nobody knows what she was banished to or destroyed. Texts say different things, but generally it seems that she was gone. The gods that were left, and these are the still current gods which I've mentioned in that document if you need to refer back, they essentially kept a council and agreed never to infer on the mortals again and let their worshippers be, and no god would handle any other god's business. From there, they took the artifacts and spread them amongst the world, hidden in different places, though the book does not say where.
Mm.
If you look for further information, generally that is it. The rumors are thin and slim, but they say that time carried on. People learned to live such lack of resource. The fleet, once a place called Verin, which was simply the greatest landmass left on this world, ripe in resource, soon became corrupted into the
military people that it is today. And that's pretty much the history of Flood. Lacking,
Oh.
not very detailed.
Blimey. How long? Because how long ago? What? Just to remind me, like, how long ago was it that everything happened? The flood happened.
600 years.
Wow.
So she
So
was
then-
a mortal, Genevia.
She was a god.
Oh, she was a god. Okay, yeah.
Was a god. She was the god of oceans. Power and greed were her.
Oh, that makes sense.
The thing is, if you worship power and greed enough, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
Get enough corrupt people and power. Yeah, because based on the book that was Tim read, the more people that worship you, the more powerful they get. So the more people that became powerful, greedy and power hungry, the stronger she became, and that had a physical manifestation in the ocean, third power of the oceans.
The mention, by the way, of her underwater army makes you suddenly flash of thought.
Of the drowned.
Mm.
Sahagin, drowned you've met, Coalinth, they're all villainous creatures of the deep.
So they're all
The
her
deep.
forces. Oh, the people who. Oh, so they could be all the people who used to
Survived.
worship her.
Yeah.
Could be her followers, her worshippers. Potentially.
You with your intelligence would 100% make that connection. You do know, in your studies, that there are underwater folk that would fight against them. Water Ganassi, sea elves,
Triton.
Triton.
Lizard folk,
Triton.
I guess, as well.
Certain lizard folk would join the cause. It's mainly ones that could breathe underwater and continue to take the fight to them.
What about the Tortles?
Yeah.
Or were they only restricted to Tortilla?
There's no real reference of Tortle, and for Alarias, Tim is the first Tortle you ever met.
Yeah.
You're muted, by the way, Dom.
No reaction.
Well, there you go. Outraged.
But Tim is
You're
the
not
first
tall.
Tortle you have ever met, and in
Oh.
in your knowledge, when you look,
Yeah.
there is no trace of
Advance.
Tortles anywhere else.
Interesting. So I
You
wonder what
have
that.
met you have met maybe you've heard of one or two Tortles being quite a rarity.
It's interesting there was a whole island of them then.
Lost surviving.
Yeah, but if
All
they're all
separate
on one island, then
Or just congregated, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Very interesting selection of books.
Tortillas are
Yeah.
rogue agents. We don't know of any other Tortle civilizations.
I guess not, if Alarias, that's the first one Alarias knew, and he's probably going to be the most,
Pretty rare.
well, I'll say the most. Elizora is probably the most
Yeah.
travelled, I guess.
Elizora is the
Him-
most, and Elizora for you, Tortilla Island is the only place you've heard of Tortles having enough people to be a tribe. There have been one or two Tortles you have met on your travels, and they are hardened folk, and they have tended to be from Tortilla.
It's people just left. It's crazy. Wow. So none of our backup characters can be Tortles. that's the lesson there.
I mean, if we want to go into it, yeah. I mean, there's always rhyme and reason.
Oh, there's
that's
always
you
stragglers
know,
everywhere, yeah.
that's
Or be some
the thing.
variant or something. Yeah.
So,
But no, that's very interesting. All very interesting books. I think,
I was gonna ask.
we would have to
about a couple more.
we'd have to collate notes, I think. And I think, if we have time after we've all read, we probably would collate what we've learnt and stuff, especially useful information, because I think we've got a lot of pieces there, and I think we'd have to put them all together.
Is it worth doing it once we're back on the ship?
Depends how much time we've got, because we're going to be waiting for. I mean, unless after we've all probably read 2 or 3 books in its entirety. If Tamarind hasn't come back yet, we should probably look for him.
What I'll say is, Alarias will read books far faster than a lot of you. Elizora as well would read books far faster than a lot of you.
Yeah.
Alarias, is there anything else you wanted to grab?
Yeah, I was going to ask about any books on timekeepers. Was the other main
Yes.
subject.
So you'd say timekeepers.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good idea.
this again is a splodged, but with it comes a word, Dunamance notes. And then another is the Ancients.
Ancients for sure. Surely.
Do we have time for both?
What I'll say is you can grab both, but you can read one.
Fair.
Probably the ancients out of those two.
The Ancients. Okay. This is a very old and tattered book. The bound leather is ripped and torn. The parchment pieces are frailed at all the edges. It speaks of a race of people born of the weave of magic, born of this world. They are called Quicodians. They are a creature that is embedded in the timeline and path that this world takes. And it is rumored that every universe has one. At least one. Quicodians are there to ensure, or at least try to, the survival of their world. They protect sanctuaries of powerful magic. They guard ancient relics, keep alive certain scriptures. They are there as guardians amongst the world for different reasons. There are two types, and they stem from magics they use. There are the Dunamantic timekeepers. Now, these timekeepers specifically focus keeping the strings of fate where they must go to ensure the survival of all their world. They will guard pools of magic that might relate to time in some way, portals as such that could do such things. They protect seers, and they seek out certain people who not only affect time stream, but some that would snap the very strings from their taut positions. Timekeepers are rare. Sometimes in such these ancients, these Quicodians, these people, they will only ever be one, maybe two, to a world, to a universe, who knows. But they do not die, unless their world dies for them. And then you have primal protectors. Now these Quicodians, these ancients, they are protectors of ancient magics embedded in the very elements of the world they are from. Some would say one would sit within a volcano protecting its fiery source, another might stay within the whirlpool that never ends. They are simply creatures that protect the land, the water, the air, the elements, where they held deep strength with the magical weave of the universe.
It just sound like elementals, yeah. Like actual proper embodiment of elements.
They are simply guardians.
Mm.
Where it mentions it, and it does, it mentions elementals could be guarded by them. They might seek out elementals to guide them into the proper place for them.
Right.
They might seek sacred points on the world where energy in magic in such a place for the elements is so key that it must be protected from corruption.
Does it say anything about floods? Floods one? Or how many?
What languages do you know, Alarias?
So let me just get it up. Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Sylvan.
In the last 2 pages, there is text you cannot read.
Can I? I'm sure I've got the spell. Can I cast Comprehend Languages?
Yeah, you can. And you'll have time to as well.
I can do it as a ritual, 10 minutes.
Yeah, you have time
Yeah,
to do that, I
cool.
think. You know this is primordial,
Makes sense.
and it reads that there are two Quicodians on this world. One a timekeeper, one a primal protector. Timekeeper escapes many eyes. But my son has seen him in a vision. And then it reads, if I am not the one reading this, then a fellow wizard has found this scripture. If you are to aid my son, I believe there is something key for him with the timekeeper. He sees visions of the future, of the past, some of the present. And I do not know what best to do with him.
Who is that alluding to?
We can't let this dude die.
But who is it? I mean, is it Phineas? Is it?
Yeah, it's Phineas' son. It's Phineas' words. I'm assuming.
I say this now to whoever reads this because only arcane eyes can see this written word. By the way, to the rest of you, Alarias is reading blank pages.
I mean, we're probably so engrossed in what we're doing, probably wouldn't notice anyway.
I'm just saying if anyone's looking at Alarias,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
think Bjorn would probably be looking at Alarias.
You're probably looking, but he's just like nodding, like, ah, that's how you read.
As you read this as well, it says, the last thing I found on the timekeeper is that he is somewhere in the Serpent's Pass. There is some powerful place there, something to do with time, hence his position, her position. I am not sure of what they are. But my son seems that his string of time is intertwined with it. So there will be a day where I will let him go. And he must find this timekeeper.
Interesting. So it does sound
Further-
like it's Phineas.
Further on, the inscription, which is just like a couple spaces of lines, and then it states, Primal Protector, I know not much of, but it could be a great ally in the battle to come. And it finishes there.
Very interesting.
Very good.
There is a moment, Alarias, when you finish reading this, where the ink fades from even your vision.
It's gone. Okay.
Hmm.
I mean, he's gonna have to write this down anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
while it's still fresh in your mind, kind of thing.
So he's got the Dunamancy book as well, but yeah, we don't have to read that now.
Yeah, well, Temrin will basically come back at this point.
Okay.
Say, I have said my goodbyes to my father. He's weak. I have assured him that I will send him some kind of message somehow.
Oh,
My bird, or I should use the sending spell, perhaps.
makes sense. As long as he's all right. He seemed very out of it.
Yes, he's addled mind. He is old. I do not think it is just that, though. But perhaps he is safer amongst his own self than with someone else eluding his time.
Leave him alone with his thoughts, kind of thing.
Yes, it tends to be that my father does his best research when he is simply focused on the problem.
Is he going to be safe here? If we leave
This
him
is
alone?
the safest place for him, or anyone. It's his sanctuary. No one is allowed to come in here that hasn't been allowed in by him.
What about the porridge you make? That's not very safe.
Well, now it's been closed. Should
Well, what
be
if he gets
fine.
frisky? Open another one.
He can contact me if he needs to, and if
Okay.
you will allow it, then with that coin, if neither of us can do so, he can get back here.
If the need arises.
If the need arises, I would not wish to use it unless necessary.
I mean, we best start heading back to the ship while light is on our side. Will it take you long to collect your belongings?
I am.
You may want to travel light, by the way.
All I need is my book and the robes on my back.
Isn't this the evil dude? Are we still taking
Yeah,
him?
well,
No,
we
need
don't
him.
know. The only person who thinks he's anywhere close to being evil is Elizora.
Oh, okay.
I
Yes.
think he's vital.
Oh, see, I think he's evil. I think
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like Elizora think he's evil, but the way based on what Aramel's Alarias has been
suspicious.
reading, he's like dead important.
We need him for the timekeepers, yeah.
He's suspicious.
Yeah.
Can Elizora search for Traquana? Is the last thing.
Quana?
Traquana.
Sure.
Oh, what's that?
Okay. You
That one
get
of the
a
gods?
you get a single title appear, and it says the Ancient Kingdom of Traquana. You won't have time to read it,
It's fine. You can
but you can definitely get it.
She'll have time later on.
Temrin actually says, just like, if I'm honest, my father rarely uses these books in his current processes. I think if he were to take one, it would not be against his will. He's eager to help you, especially if I am with you.
Gerard as well.
Good. We were going to do that anyway.
It's good. I guess it's good that
And
we
now
have
you
permission.
have permission.
Yeah. All good. My conscience isn't clear.
My conscience is unaffected.
Okay, so Temrin simply follows you back to the ship. What I will say is that check for the hawk.
Uh-huh.
You see Elena. She's on the Isle of Bosti in the forest. And she's just walking.
Where?
For a minute, she was kind of running, then she hid behind a tree, looked around, panicked. Your hawk with that check can definitely see she's panicked. She's running from something. She's not seemingly startled, scared. You're not sure. When you look around, nothing's chasing her.
Where is she?
She, get to the right thing, is in the forest ahead of the mountain in front of you. So
We should
north.
kill her as well.
How
just
the
because-
It's some impressive running.
Yeah,
we're
that's some
like
range. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with Dom. We need to bump her off immediately.
Wow.
Loose end.
Yeah, Hawk will track her, then keep an eye on her till we're out, so we can find her properly.
And we will end the session there. Next time on Pirate Adventures. How did Elena get there so fast? What is she running from? What has addled the mind of Phineas Balin, and what do all these notes mean? Also, what's in the books that you've brought with you that I haven't read yet? Tune in next time on Pirate Adventures.
Ending it there.